to Newspaper Today on Osbc TV. My name is David Ojo. We have lots of news, national newspapers that we'll be going through today on this edition of a Newspaper Today. But before I go through this stories in our national daily this wonderful morning, let me introduce you to the guests that we have that will be doing it together on Newspaper Today. He will be reviewing some of the top stories in our national dailies this morning. I have Sonny Ajayi with me this morning. It's nice having you.
My pleasure to be here.
All right, we have loads and loads of national papers that we have today. The first one here is the Punch newspaper, and this one is saying the front page says Tinubu returns after 34 days and dismisses heal rumors. And we have Ondo farmer raise the alarm over herdsmen attack. All right, we'll go through the Vanguard as well. We have Sean rumors, Armstrong, Tinubu says on arrival from France. And we have these two on the front page of Guardian, of Vanguard, I beg your pardon. Adopted Kogi monarch dies in kidnapper's den. And in the Nations today, here we have this one at the front page of the Nations. It says, we will deliver on renewed hope agenda, Tinubu affirms. And on the Sun, Daily Sun this morning, we have Osman in Yara open up Tinubu, Alpha Conde and Guinea. And we also have these on the front page of Daily Sun this wonderful morning. Says Tinubu returns after 34 days abroad. And the New Telegraph, we have 10th Assembly, South, Northwest to produce Senate President and Speaker. We have lots of national dailies this morning, but let's just quickly look at this story. Sonny, let's look at this story from the front page of the Punch. It talks about Tinubu returning after 34 days, dismisses ill health rumors.
Well, I think first and foremost, I appreciate you, having me on. Well, I think to God be the glory, because we've read a lot of sad news, coming from a particular region of the country, people. And then for him now to come back very healthy, I think is a good thing for our nation. And I think also it's good for him because he has taken enough rest now, so there'll be no reason to start, looking for alibi, that because of the campaigns and that is why he could not hit the ground running. So I think, like I said when it was arriving, that he's set for the job.
Well, in the front page of Vanguard, this one is coming in another form entirely. It says, yes. Sean rumors, Armstrong, Tinubu says on arrival from France.
Exactly, The rumors are still all over the place, but like I said, to God be the glory is only from one section of the country. And we've seen him, and we're happy to have him back. And then I think I learned a lot of lessons from Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He's a man that is not bothered by what people say. That's number one thing I see, as a leadership quality. The second one is a guy that is focused. And the third one is a guy that has been preparing for this task long time ago. And I think it's going to be the first in the history of Nigeria who is really prepared, for the presidency. Because when we go back to, to our history, we realize that Tafawa Balewa never planned for it. As a school teacher, he was picked. Then Agui Ironsi, he never planned for it. Gowon just came back from Sandhurst, and then on and on and on, and then even it came to Yaradua, this and that, to Obasanjo, who came from prison, and then the man who's there right now. So none of them was fully prepared. But we are having for the first time in our history a man that has prepared really for the job. And we don't expect anything less.
Looking at the Daily Sun's front page, still talking about Tinubu and it's moving away from Nigeria. It says Tinubu returns after 34 days abroad. What do you get out from that?
A lot. First and foremost, he went for religious pilgrimage. Well, also in Saudi Arabia to give glory and thanks to God. And it's not a day's event anyway. The number two, he has to meet with some people. He has to meet, with some, world leaders. And it's not every meeting, he did. He had to broadcast. And then he went to the UK. We know the rules of the UK in our polity. And then from there to France. And French Macron, Emmanuel Macron was the first, among the first leaders to really congratulate him. So for me, a lot of engagements left, right, and center. I had one of them who was a presidential candidate saying that he doesn't believe he has to travel. When people see how Tinubu was able to comb the length and breadth of Nigeria, going from Crane to this, he deserves rest. And so for me, I think it's a welcome thing.
Right, let's move away from Tinubu and let's look at this running story, because it keeps running, and we hope that at the end of the day we'll find a safe landing. It's all about the Sudan and the evacuation of over 2,000 Nigerian students in that area, and it's starting today.
Well, it's sad because we're never proactive in whatever we do. And again, we never realized our position in the global space. We never realized what God has done for Nigeria as a country. That we have 5 continents, and we say 6, but 5 continents. We have Australia, represented by Australia. We have Asia, represented by China. We have Europe, represented by Britain, not Russia, not Germany, not France, Britain. Then we have the Americas, represented by United States of America. Then we have Africa, Nigeria. And God also, in His infinite mercy, has given these nations a lot in terms of population and material resources. But Nigeria is the only one lagging behind. Why should we allow 5,500? Because I had Godfrey Oyema talking that, we have 5,500 students right there, and they're waiting now to have a safe corridor to start lifting them. And again, he went to cook another alibi. And after all, a country like the United States of America had just started 2 days ago. Why shouldn't we be the first to start? And the peace has granted them free passage, and then I think these are kind of Nigerians that we need to honor. He did the same thing in South Africa. He did the same thing, I think in Ghana, wherever, and I think now he's doing it again in Sudan. Nigeria should start to be proactive. Nigeria should take its role in Africa and the world politics. And now that we're having a new dawn, that is May 29, I think everything has to change, and change for the better. We should have a greater Nigeria, we should have a greater society, we should have a Nigeria that we can be proud of, and we should have a Nigeria that we believe as a representative of the people in color around the world.
Looking at this story, especially this Sudan story, the president of ASU, Professor Shodeke, said that it's a shame that Nigerian students are studying in Sudan instead of coming over to Nigeria to study. What do you think we should do to our education system?
First and foremost, again, back to Foreign Minister Godfrey Oyema. He said they are there, the schools there are okay, this and that. But again, it is still part of not believing in one Nigeria. But when we look at the population of these students, majority of them are from the northwest of our country. And again, when you look at what have they gone there to study, I don't think they've gone there to study something really unique or fantastic. Because if anybody wants to study, not because I study in the Western world, but I believe that if anybody really wants to get good education, he has to go to the Western world. He has to go to Britain, to the US, to Canada, and Germany, where I grew up. So, but for people now going to Sudan, this and that, it shows again that we still don't believe, that we're a strong nation. And again, when you look at whatever they've gone there to study, I don't think it's something we should, celebrate. Although some of them can still go for something better, but I think majority wouldn't.
All right, let's look at Daily Sons, and this one is talking about PMS. It's a petrol price increased by 42.63% a liter in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, we all know that towards the presidential election, everything became political, including, the price of petroleum products. So, and we also realize, the coming regime, the coming administration, we have to start from there. Abacha did it. You know, people can call Abacha any name. It's because the guy is dead. To me, he's one of the best Nigerian leaders. You know, and you know, I can be quoted anywhere in the world. During the Abacha's regime, the dollar was changing for 11 naira. Yes, then in the Abacha regime, the price of petrol went down. In the Abacha's regime, you know, people were not, you know, going abroad, you know, to look for wherever. You know, there was no brain, you know, flight or whatever. Rather, people were coming to Nigeria, and Abacha never went anywhere to borrow a dime. So what do we need? I think the incoming government should look at the policies of Abacha. He should forget about the draconian aspects of them as a military guy. He should forget about maybe some people who are killed and this and that. But he should look at the best of the policies of Abacha and then try to fine-tune them, and let's have some. So, petroleum products, you know, going up, I think, to me, is political. And number two, I also feel that Dangote is coming on stream sooner than later. I also know that there's another refinery that will be built sooner, also in Badagry. I also realize that, okay, they are now saying that what we have been shouting and screaming for in the past, that let's have modular refineries. Let's start from the Greeks. All those small ones that they destroy, we have thousands and thousands of them in Texas. And Texas is one of the oil-producing states in America. You know, they also have mega refineries, but they also have modular refineries more than the mega ones. So why don't we also encourage local technologies? So that I think Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has a lot of power in his own. And I think Nigeria will see what is called governance in the sense.
All right, a New Telegraph, it's boldly written, 10th Assembly, Southwest, Northwest, to produce Senate President and Speaker.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the Senate President, this is my own view, it should come from the South-South. Yeah, that's, you know, it's as simple as ABC. Well, am I saying so? First and foremost, well, you know, let's look at it critically. We have the present one now. We have the president right now, you know, coming from Northwest. Then we have the VP coming from the Southwest. Then we have the Speaker of the Congress coming from Southwest. And then we have Senate President again coming from the Northeast. Then let's change it now, you know, in a way that, okay, if that should be the case now, what do we expect? We expect now the President is from the Southwest. VP elect from the Northeast. Then where should we now get the Senate President? From the South-South. It's as simple as that. And then we also look at, you know, who are the people right there? Because when we just say the South, they cannot be the Southwest anyway. Is that the Southeast or the South-South? Okay. The only guy now that is there right now is Kalu, you know, for the Southeast anyway. And Kalu himself still has a lot of pies in the court. Yes, okay. Then the other guy now is Akpabio. Yeah, and a good turn deserves another. You know, we need to, I mean, the love and reciprocity, that if you do me good, I pay you back also with goodness. So he stepped down for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu after paying 100 million, number one. And he campaigned vigorously, not only in his own state, but throughout his own region. And so he deserves that. You know, he deserves that. You know, it's a function of meritocracy. You know, you can't just, in the entire Southeast, in Enugu, for instance, where Godfrey Oyema comes from, what did the APC, you know, make? APC made 4,000 votes. And he goes to tell you that they are not in this administration. You know, and then when you talk about the federal cabinet anywhere in the world, you know, when you talk about the minister, the first one, Minister of Defense. Second, Minister of Foreign Affairs. Third, Minister of Internal Affairs. The defense in Nigeria is Hausa, because I don't believe in the, I don't believe in it. You know, I started, when I came back with New Nigeria Development Corporation before moving to Udua. So I understand that. Now, the second again is Godfrey Oyema from the Southeast. The third is this guy, Rauf Aregbesola from the Southwest. So this is the way it's done all over the world. But unfortunately, do these people really allow their people to know that they represent them in the cabinet? So I think right now, people, when they are trying to jostle for position, they should know they're jostling for their regions. They're jostling for their people. They're not jostling for their families or friends or cronies, you know, or sacrifice. So I think these are things that we need to impress on the people, and the people themselves, region by region. If you want to give us any president, allow us to choose for you. Yes. You want to give us minister, allow us to choose for you. And that's why I'm thinking that Senate President, it should be, Godwin Party.
Well, let's look at the Guardian newspaper, and this one talks about the international day. It says Nigerians spent 2.04 trillion naira yearly on malaria prevention and treatment. Nigeria with their spending.
Yeah, well, trillion, it's because the naira itself has been so battered. Because, I don't know, maybe later we'll be hearing quadrillion. You see, because I don't know, I don't know when malaria becomes so endemic, to the extent that we'll be spending so much money. We're not producing drugs internally here. Don't we have a lot of, herbs that people still go for? The incoming administration has a lot to do, and so we better allow these guys just to go in peace. Yes.
All right, still talking about the newspaper. Let's look at a Blueprint newspaper this morning. Talks about 2023 census, and the MPC is saying our servers intact, ready for deployment.
Yeah, fantastic. But is Nigeria ready? I mean, I don't know why we're rushing all these things. Is Nigeria ready? And the issue of census itself, could have been decentralized, like it's done in other climes. How do I know? We have local government areas. They should keep their own registers. They should be able to know the number of people in their own territory. They should know the number of people who die. They should know the number of newborns and the rest of them like that. So, and we should do all these things holistically and morally right. So at the end of the day, there's going to be a pool, there's going to be a data that this guy can access. And so if they want to do a national one, I haven't looked at all those pools and data and the rest of them, they cannot do that. But again, is Nigeria really ready? A new government is coming. This government needs a lot of money. This outgoing government is promoting people, increasing, wages, salaries, increasing emoluments, and the productive capacity of Nigeria is dwindling by the day. Nigeria is a mono economy. Nigeria is a micro economy. Nigeria is import-driven economy. So when we look at all these and we put them, and then we sit with managerial economies, we are nowhere. Okay, so for me, I don't think it's time again to start spending so much money. Are Nigerians really ready now? Some people are still nursing their wounds of the election defeats. I don't know. These guys are going to open up their homes and say, okay, see, come and count us. So it doesn't add up. This is it. Let these wounds go. Let the new administration come on board. Let's have a new slate, a new template. Let this administration come with certain things that will change our psyche as people. And then we can relax and say, let's count. Why are we rushing? What are we counting ourselves for? I don't understand. Because even our budget is not based on population in Nigeria. Our budget is not based on capacity, to produce anything. So for me, I don't know why we're counting. It doesn't add up. It's just a waste of money. So let them, for God's sake, postpone it, till another day. The administration that is coming should be able to be allowed to settle down to real business. Nigeria need to be reinvented. Honestly, even we look at our curricula in colleges and universities and the rest of them, they need to be reprogrammed. Because what are we really training? Are we training people again to be looking for jobs? We need to look at all those things. Are we growing our economy? We look at all those things. The refineries are not working and people are being paid. Now they're lifting our crude oil. They bring in barges to lift crude oil. At the end of the day, the meters are allegedly not functioning. So they depend on this crew now to ask them, what have you lifted? For many times we have asked questions, how many barrels of crude oil have you lifted? Nobody has answered us. So these are areas that the new administration would have to look into. And the new administration also should realize that two things. First, merit. Merit is a function of who labored. Because I realize that most times the people that actually labored to put these guys in never benefited. So this is not the time now they have to ask them to go and look for their children. Go and bring their sons, go and bring their daughters, go and bring their this and that. This is the time now to look at those guys who were in the trenches with them and who have good education and the rest of them to be able to join them to navigate our spacecraft to that harbor of our dream.
Right, this one is just beside the name plate of Daily Sons, and it's talking about education. It says 2023 UTME begins today. 1.5 million candidates to write in 708 centers.
Okay, fantastic. That's good. But do we have facilities to absorb them? Yeah, that's another question that we need to be asking. And again, is it necessary that they should sit for that kind of central examination? Because it's still going to go for universities examinations. Why can't they give the universities autonomy? And I think, the new coming president, who is the president-elect right now, has said it, that university will have their independence. And then 4 years will be 4 years. And then there will be bonds and loans for students. And lecturers will not be selling handouts, but rather they become authors. Okay, so with all this, anyway, for me, I think JAM would be the best. Right. Because right now, it's a profitable
All right, so now, we hope to go on and on newspaper today, but time is not always our friend when it comes to reviewing some of the headlines in the newspaper. All right, Tony Ajay, I want to say a big thank you for being part of the newspaper today once again. All right, that's how far we can go on newspaper today on OSBC TV. Join my colleague same time tomorrow for another edition of newspaper today. My name is David Ojo. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
bàbá lọ́jà yàlájẹ́ oníṣòwò kéékèèké pẹ̀lú oníṣòwò ńláńlá ẹjọ́ TV channel o lè jọjà yìí tàyẹ sọ fún wọn. OSBC lókè balẹ̀ yìí channel 32 UHF náà dẹ̀ sọ. channel 32 UHF ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá síbẹ̀ wọn. OSBC channel 32 kí ló ń ṣe níbẹ̀ gan òjijì tún lè ṣàdùrẹ́ ṣe ọmọ. wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ àsìkò ní àjọyọ̀ àjò tó kọ́ ní lọ́gbọ́n lọ́lọ́kan òjò kan àwọn orin àsìkò tó tún bàgbà mú gidi. ẹ ṣe publicity fún business tí a jáwó ìwọ lọ rí wọn tún lè ṣàdó bàbá ọgbọ́n. ṣòkòrò kí lókè balẹ̀ náà wà ó ṣòkòrò kí lókè balẹ̀ náà wà ó.
tó ti ń dá bí ẹnu tó ti ń rọ̀ bí òwe bàbá owó túnde túnde.